Alright, so today's video is going to be kind of a short one, probably. I just wanted to cover a fight I had, I think, a couple of weeks ago. Well, maybe 2 weeks ago. Been busy recently, tournament stuff. But I thought that this would be an interesting one to show because it kind of touches on what I would call targets of opportunity, or that's what the video is going to be called, whatever. But uh, looking for the target in a fight that you're most likely to be able to hunt down and destroy. So this fight is going to be myself versus a pair of Imperial Navy slicers. You can see them on D-scan right now here. Um, I'm in Nenemalia here, looking for fights. I think I was bored at this point in the night, so I'm looking around at the different plexes. I saw that. I'm just gonna dive right into the fight here. I saw that there were a pair of slicers here with the comet, so I'm interested, and I figure the slicers may have caught the comet like at the gate, or maybe they're fighting inside the plex. I don't really know. And so I decide to warp to the outside of the gate here at 100, just warp at range, because I want to see what's going on. I There I go, preheating all my modules. So I warp at range and I land here shortly, and it turns out that all of them here are outside of the gate. They're all kind of screwing around, and it just so happens that I've landed right on top of one of the slicers. I got a little lucky. The other two, you see the comet is right about here. It looks like they may have just killed something. There's a little wreck icon right there, and they're all together. It looks like I see slicer, I see another slicer, and these two are in the same alliance. So either they're all together or the two that are over here are together. But I'm mostly concerned with this one right here because I'm literally on top of it. So he plays it smart. First thing he does when he sees me land is he immediately kicks on his micro warp drive right there. You see him burning away. I decide to burn right after him. I heat my micro warp drive and I burn straight after him. But it's a slicer. Slicers are known to be fast, and I decide I don't want to waste too much heat, so I unheat my prop mod, and I decide what's going through my head here right now is there's a lot of people in system, 26 people in local, which is a fair amount in low sec. So there's a lot of people in system. I've already seen a couple of other ships bouncing around between the plexes, and if I'm gonna get into a fight with these guys, I don't want to be near the gate itself. I want to be off gate, a ways off, so that people can't warp in on top of us, so I can do this little dance with them and not be interrupted. So here, okay, so here I'm burning after the slicer. He's fast, a fair amount faster than I am. I'm burning at it's 4,000 something with heat, but I've taken off heat, so I'm losing speed now. He's moving at a smooth 3.7, and so he's pulling away there. He's also missing me, and I've started. Let me double back a bit there. Hold on. Kind of watch my, if possible, watch my velocity indicator here. One of these arrows basically shows me kind of giving chase. But after I realize I'm not going to catch him specifically, I decide to focus on the battlefield in its entirety. So I start uh, just clicking around. I start just derping around, making it look like I don't really know what I'm doing with my piloting. And this is just a technique I'm using to try to cause them to slip up, because on a kiting platform like these slicers, you need to do a lot of manual piloting if you're not like if you don't want to get caught too easily. And that's how these platforms excel, is by manually piloting them. A lot of people will take kiting platforms and orbit targets at range, and if you do that predictable behavior, then you're going to eventually get caught, and we'll kind of see that here actually. So again, I'm double clicking in space around here. I'm kind of just trying to put myself between these two to cause the ebb and flow of them trying to put damage on me while not getting caught by me to cause them to go out of sync. Because if I chase one of them, the other one will give pursuit, and then if I turn on that one, well, now that one's got to change its course, change its mind, and then the other one can start coming after me. But it's this, it's this little dance of death. So I'm still kind of screwing around here, but now I hear, it looks like I double click again, like right down there. Still kind of derping around, but I'm watching his friend now. I'm watching the guy who was like 100 kilometers off, 120 or whatever. He's coming in. He's closer to me now than the original guy was. The original guy is just kind of, you know, doing his thing over here. He's gonna start circling back in. But this guy, look at that. He is coming straight at me. I see that, and I'm like, wonderful. Thank you, God. Because his arrow isn't straight at me here necessarily. You see there's a slight offset. That's because he's well, it's not as severe, but it almost looks like he's told his ship to orbit me, and I take advantage of that here. He's done something. He's done something that's causing him to burn straight at me. So I decide to take that and, you know, make it work for myself. So I start at some point here, yeah, I start approaching him now and locking him up now. And he's 50 kilometers away from me. So at this point, once I start burning, okay, right here ish, right there. Okay. You see how he's starting to pull this way? That's the orbit target kicking in. He's at 32 kilometers. It says 32. He's more like around 20. If I pause and unpause here, you see it jump from 32 to 26. So he's like right at 25, 26, probably 28 kilometers was the orbit or something like that. But now he's at 26 kilometers. My heated web range is 13 kilometers. And right now, our combined speed is about 6.3 kilometers a second. So I, I know the slicers are wonderful kiting platforms, and I know they're agile, but there's no ship that's this agile. So you see him, he's starting to kind of try to turn this way, try to establish that orbit, but 6 kilometers a second is a lot. So we come in, I manage to land a web, he lands a disruptor, I land a scram, and I start hitting him with rockets. So now that I'm close to him, I don't want my I turn off my micro warp drive and turn on my afterburner so that I can still stay close with my web, even though it doesn't really matter when I'm brawling down a kiting ship. But you see I'm kind of getting chunked a little bit. I'm more focused on taking him down and trying to survive than really maintaining my tank. And when I say survive, I don't mean live with the ship, with my ship's hit points. I mean not get caught by the second guy. So now I've taken this slicer out. It was I think like 130 mil kill. I'll post the kill mail in comments. But now that I've taken this guy out, I want to not get killed by the other guy. And that's not the first thing that goes through my head here. The first thing that does go through my head is, ooh, I wonder what's in the cargo, so I loot this thing real quick. Okay, 2.5 million, that's not that much. But this guy's coming in. Just a second ago, he was like 80 kilometers away. He's coming in fast. So I start looking for a way out. I start spamming warp to the iHub. Just give me some celestial to warp out to. And I managed to warp out when he's 40 kilometers away from me. Or it almost looks like it was 28 there. But I just barely get out in time and manage to start repping stuff up. So all in all, that was a good fight. I obviously enjoyed it. Um, the the thing to take away from this is if you are in It's easier to fight multiple targets, in my opinion, if you are not brawling them. It's easier to fight multiple kiting targets than it is to fight multiple brawling targets, because kiters, the only thing they care about, the only thing they're concerned about as far as control is concerned, is preventing you from escaping. So typically warp disruptors, and that's all she wrote. Like that's the only thing they'll have on you. Sometimes maybe like not warp disruptors, tracking disruptors or something, depending on what type of ship you're fighting. But for the most part, they're fit with long-range weapons, micro warp drives, and warp disruptors, and they're just going to try to hold you at range. So the benefit of that, the reason it's easier to fight those than it is to fight a bunch of brawlers is brawling ships typically bring scrams, webs, and propulsion modules with them, and they just try to hold targets down. So multiple brawling ships trying to hold you down means multiple scrams, multiple webs, and multiple targets that are built to slug it out. Whereas multiple kiting ships typically just flit around on the battlefield. They try to stay at range, but it's really easy in a lot of cases to just you know slip away from them. So I there was a fight I got into a long time ago. I think I got caught by a Garmer in an Atron, and I managed to actually get away after several, well, not several, but after, a minute or two of him shooting at me. I managed to still escape because he let me slingshot him. And, slingshotting is kind of the key to fighting these kiters. In this fight, you saw me slingshot a target offensively, specifically letting him letting his momentum work against him and bring him right into me. But in a lot of cases, you can obviously you can also use slingshotting defensively by slipping away from targets that you don't want holding you down. So, uh, yeah, all in all, just circling back to the targets of opportunity. In this case, I knew I wasn't going to catch the first slicer, but I wanted to make it look like I could to see what else they tried doing. And in this case, the what else they tried doing happened to be flying directly into me. So I got a nice kill out of it. Uh, that's all I really have. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you learned something. Have a good one.